Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, my phone's on here. Let me turn that down. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you. Welcome to Stamp and Chat. It is crafternoon crafting today, right, Tom?
Crafternoon. Happy crafternoon.
It is crafternoon time. How are you, Tom?
I'm doing great today.
That's awesome. We've got a little project that Tom and I are going to be working on over the weekend and into early next week that we're going to be rolling out for you guys, and we're excited about that. But today we are going to be playing with foil. And a lot of you have posted in our Facebook group that you're a little bit intimidated by foil. You haven't tried it. You want to try it. You bought some and you haven't taken it out of the package. And I am here to let you know today that there is nothing to be intimidated about. Foiling is super easy. It is so much fun. And it's not a very expensive thing to do if you do it this way. So the way that I'm going to show you how to foil is by using a basic laminator. And I want to show you this laminator here is the Royal Sovereign laminator. And this one I got on, I don't know, I think probably on Amazon or something like that. They don't make it anymore, but it was a super cheap laminator. It was maybe $40, not expensive at all. ThermoWeb used to carry the bigger version of this, and I got one of those too because I taught a lot of classes, so I had several laminators. Now, some of you have the Mink, and it's a great laminator. And some of you have a super cheap $15 laminator that you got at Walmart. Some of you have an old laminator that you found up in your attic. As long as it's a hot laminator, it's going to work. The big difference between the ones that are made for the crafting industry, like the Mink, and the ones that are made more for the office industry, like the Royal Sovereign and some of the other ones, is how much time you need to heat them up prior to starting your craft. So when it comes to something like the Royal Sovereign or the Scotch laminator, or any of those generic ones that are out there, just let it heat up for about 20 minutes before you start. You want it to get really, really nice and hot. The Mink heats up in about 3 minutes and it's ready to go, but you will pay a premium price for the Mink. So it's totally up to you. Maybe you think the Mink is really cute and it looks cute in your craft room, or maybe you're on a budget and you're thinking for Christmas, I'm going to ask somebody, but I don't want them to spend more than 20 bucks, you know, get a generic one, and it's totally fine. So I hope that helps take away the fear of this being an expensive thing to do, because it is not an expensive thing to do if you do it this way. Now, there's lots of different ways that you can create designs that are foilable. The first way is if you have a laser printer, you can print your own designs. You can design things, you can print things out. And as long as it is a laser printer and not an inkjet printer, you need that laser toner, you can foil those kinds of images. Some people have taken things to Kinko's or Staples, Office Depot to have things printed. That's okay, but the one thing that you should know about taking designs to a place like that is their goal is to give you a printed document with the least amount of toner on it as possible. So they have their machines set to economy, and you're not going to get very much toner. The more toner you have on your paper, the better the foiling is going to be. The next option is to purchase pre-printed designs from a company like ThermoWeb or from Gina K Designs. We have some really beautiful pre-printed designs. They're called foil mates. I came up with this many, many years ago, and then ThermoWeb approached me and we talked a little bit about doing a line of these together. And so we also have the ThermoWeb foil mates. And this is one of my favorites. It's discontinued, but ThermoWeb still has them on their website, and it is the tag tidings. These are great for fast holiday tags. And there's also lots of other ones that you can check out, different backgrounds and different greetings. And then there are the Gina K Designs foil mates that we have on our website. Now, our new sentiment strips that came in one of the kits, but you can also buy these separately. These are foilable as well. And then another way that you can do foil, this is a laminator foil, is to use a product like Deco Foil Transfer Gel. They have two different kinds. And this is important because depending on what you want to do, let me see if I can find my other one. I know it's here somewhere. Here it is. Okay. So there is the Deco Foil. Maybe we'll go to the overhead for this. So there is the Deco Foil Duo, and then there is the Deco Foil Blanco. Now, if you're wondering, well, which one should I get? Which one is going to be right for what I want to do? Let me tell you the difference. So the Blanco is great for using a laminator. It's also great when you're using really light colored foils. ThermoWeb has some beautiful foils that are like white iridescent and really light. And if you wanted to use this on black cardstock or dark cardstock, and you're using that really light foil, having the white transfer gel underneath will not change the color of the foil, if that makes sense, because it's like using it on white paper. Now, if you use the Deco Foil Duo, this will dry clear. And so if you're using it on dark cardstock, your foil color might change a little bit if it's a really light translucent type of foil. But if you're using the Gina K foils like the Radiant Red, all these, then the Duo would work just fine. The other benefit to the Duo is you don't need a laminator to use the Duo. Hence the word duo. It can be used with a laminator or it can be used just with a die cutting machine and pressure. So I use the Duo a little bit more only because a lot of times I'm not sure exactly what I want to do. Do I want to just rub the foil on there and use my die cutting machine, or do I want to laminate it? The Duo will do both. But I have the Blanco because sometimes I just want to stencil white through a stencil. And this is amazing for that. It dries without any tackiness. This one dries with a little bit of tackiness. And you need that tackiness if you're not going to use a laminator. Okay, so those are the two kinds of transfer gel. And if I had to recommend one or the other, and you can only afford one, I'd say go with the Duo because you can use it both ways. If you can afford both, get this one too, because this is great for doing like snowflakes and things like that in the background where you don't want to put any foil at all on there and it's white and it's beautiful. Okay, so those are the two ways that you can do that. Now, another thing that you can do for foiling is you can use something like the Gina K Designs Terrific Tape. So the Terrific Tape is great. It's double-sided sticky tape, and you can create striped patterns. You can create borders around the outside of your card. You can create a border across the center of your card. And then you peel off the vinyl piece that's on the Terrific Tape, and you put your foil right on there, and you rub it, and the foil will stick. So the foil will stick to anything tapey, if that makes sense. So if you've got double-sided sticky tape, you've got some of the ThermoWeb foam adhesive, you can die cut those pieces, and then you can peel the liner off and stick your foil right on there and rub it, and it'll work great. Another product, I don't have one here, but is the Deco Foil Adhesive Pen. And the pen, let's go to my front shot so I don't have anything to show. The pen is great because you can sign your name on your card and you can foil it. It can go through a laminator. You can add details. Let's say you've stamped some beautiful layering flowers, and then you want to add foil just to the centers, or you want to add a couple little dots into the center of each flower and then foil those. That Deco Foil Adhesive Pen is really fun for that because it has the right kind of adhesive that works with foil. So those are the different options. Now today we're going to be playing mostly with the laminator. Well, we're going to be playing with the laminator the whole day because I think, you know, you can get a laminator so cheap these days, and it's the perfect little gift for yourself. And it can be used for other things too. You know, I mean, a laminator is great to have around the house if you want to laminate recipe cards and things like that. That is one thing that I've been working on for several years for my kids. It's my legacy. It's my Italian cooking recipes. And I've been making them little cards and then laminating them. This way, when they're using them, if they spill sauce or anything on them, they can just wipe them off. So a laminator is never a bad tool to have. And something like the Mink is really tiny. Also, the Royal Sovereign is really tiny. I know the Scotch one is really tiny. So just check. I think Amazon has one, like an Amazon Basic, that's tiny too. So, you know, you don't have to spend a lot, but that's what we're going to do today because I want to show you a couple fun things. Now, well, let's get started with a couple of things. So the first thing I want to do is, let me get a piece of cardstock here that I can work on. And what I'm going to do is, everybody loves this stencil of ours. This is the Stellar Snowflake stencil. So what I thought I would do is I would do some Deco foil transfer gel onto this. Now, can you send foil through the laminator with the tape? Patty, you can. You absolutely can, because foil works with two things. It works with either pressure or heat. So, you know, heat and pressure is not going to bother it. All right, so I'm going to just take a little bit of tape here. I think my phone is buzzing, and I'm sorry about that if it is. Don't people know I'm live? Come on. I have people in my family that don't even know what I do, I think. So, okay, so there we go. Now, I just taped this down. Of course, you can use Pixie spray. And if you don't know what Pixie spray is, it's a product by Thermoweb that you spray on the back of your stencil. And then you press the stencil down onto the paper. It stays a little tacky, and then you don't need to tape your stencil down. It's very good. It will leave your stencil tacky, and it's very difficult to get off. So if that bothers you, then just use their purple tape or, you know, some washi tape or something. But if it doesn't bother you and, you know, you use your, a lot of people, I mean, look at how dirty my stencil is. A lot of people just love their products. They don't care so much about them looking pristine. And I am one of those people. I just don't want to spray any Pixie spray in here because Tom is over there and I'm here, and this is a tiny little room and we've got the door closed. So it is good to work with that in a little open environment. All right, I'm going to use the Deco Foil Transfer Gel Duo. The Duo, and you can see it looks like mayonnaise. It's the consistency of mayonnaise, and I'm just going to take some of that and I'm going to put that onto my stencil, and then I'm going to, kind of like I'm frosting a cake. Everything is food with me. Like I'm frosting a cake, I am just spreading that all over the stencil. I'm not too worried yet about, you know, getting rid of any lines. In fact, I kind of like the lines in there, the way that it looks when you get the foil on there. But if you don't like the lines, I'll show you something else in just a second. Okay. So I'm smearing that all over. And the thing about this stuff is, you know, don't be afraid of it. Just use it. What's the worst that can happen? Have you thought about that when you're thinking about being afraid to try it? What's the worst that can happen? You won't like it. You'll throw it away. It's a piece of paper. Okay, so let me see if I have this little tool in here. I hope I have it with me. Yes, I do. So this is called the Stencil Pal, and this is another product by Thermoweb. A lot of people think they're supposed to use this edge. I use this edge. It's the flat edge. And all you do is, it's like you're, you know, squeegeeing your shower or the window. You just go down and just clean that all up. And that gives you a super smooth transfer gel. And then I take the rest of this transfer gel and I just put it back into the jar. And one thing I will tell you, whether you're using transfer gel, whether you're using any kind of embossing pastes or gels, be mindful of cleaning the rim of the jar before you close it, or you will, you know, you're going to need to get somebody to open it. So I always just take a paper towel and go around the outside, keep that rim nice and clean, and then it's going to open for you, even if you don't open it again for 2 more months. And then I'm just going to clean my tool real quick, and also this real quick. Now, when you're working with stencils, you can take them right to the sink and clean them, and that's a great idea. The other thing you can do is just keep a little bowl of water close to the table, and then you can just throw them in the bowl of water. And if you do that, you won't have to clean them until you're done crafting, and then it's real easy. It just washes right away. Okay, now I'm not going to leave this on here while it dries. I'm actually going to pull this off. And it's hard to see because everything's white and the transfer gel is white. But let's see if I can give you a look at this somehow. You guys can probably see that, right? They can see that outline,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Tom? Okay. So it's beautiful. It's raised. And it just needs to dry for a little bit. So I'm just going to put it aside and let it dry. Now, when I do this type of work, I usually do all of my stenciling and then I just let it sit for a couple of hours. You know, you can let it sit overnight. Sometimes the whole craft for the night is just doing the transfer gel part. Other times, you know, it's laminating. So I'm going to just let that sit, and I'll do that one near the end. So I want to show you this. This is one of my favorite foil mates for the holidays. This is called Large Snowflakes. It's a Gina K Designs product. These come 4 in a pack. So I am going to take one of these, and we're going to do some designs here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down to a 1/4 sheet. So I've got my little paper cutter here. I'm going to cut this down to a 1/4 sheet. Now I'm not worried about anything else here because I'm going to trim it again once it's done. Now for foils, let me show you some of my favorite foils. These are all the Gina K ones, but ThermoWeb has lots of other ones too, but I am partial to the ones that are Gina K. And because we've done some things to work with them. So this is the glittering green foil. Isn't that beautiful? And our Emerald City sequins match the glittering green foil exactly. So if you're going to do a foiled background and then you want to add some sequin embellishments, this works really well together. And I love this green. It's not a traditional dark Christmas green, but it's super fun on Christmas cards. Then there's Radiant Red, which is one of my absolute favorites. And in these stamp pockets, I keep them in the stamp pockets. You can't see as well, but look at the sparkle and shine in that. Isn't that beautiful? And this does match our Ruby Slippers sequins perfectly. It's the same exact red, so you can mix and match the sequins with it. And I just keep all mine. I cut them down. I cut them in half because they come in full sheets. I cut them in half at the 4-inch mark. I think they're 4 by 6. Well, let's see what they are. I don't know why I don't have how big are they? Well, I figure out how big they are and I cut them in half. Let's see. Here's a new one. Let me find one so I can tell you the truth. We don't have to lie. Okay, they're 6 by 8. So they're 6 across by 8 inches long. And then I cut them at 4 inches. So I have a 4 by 6 sheet. And that's really the perfect size for me because I always like to have my panels a little bit smaller than my card base because I think it's pretty with the border. So I pre-cut all of mine and then put them in a stamp pocket. So some of the other colors that I love, this is Brilliant Blue. Look at that blue. And this looks so pretty with our mermaid scale sequins. So if you're doing Hanukkah cards or you're doing, just blue is so beautiful for winter. This is just a really nice combination. So Radiant Red, Glittering Green, Brilliant Blue. Then there is Sparkling Silver, and we have silver sequins in our collection. These also work really nicely with our disco ball because they have that same kind of opalescent value there. Also, our little dazzling diamonds rhinestones are great with this. And then there is the silver sequins. So this is fun. Can you see the sequin pattern in there? Let me see if I can pull that out. This is a really fun one. And I might use this today on this snowflake piece. Isn't that pretty? Yes. Okay. I will keep that one out. And then there's also Glimmering Gold that matches our gold sequins. And there's Gold Sequins. So it has these little round sequin shapes in there. Really pretty. So these are my picks for the holidays. There's also beautiful twinkling pink and dazzling orange and a lot of, plain ones that don't have the glitter that are beautiful for spring cards and all kinds of other things. today we're doing holidays, so we're gonna focus on this. So what I'm gonna do here is, since I'm using the mink, I'm going to use one of the mink folders. These are little plastic folders that come with the mink. If you don't have a mink, what I recommend you getting is the ThermoWeb parchment paper, because their parchment paper is different than kitchen parchment paper. Kitchen parchment paper is very thick. This is super thin, almost like typing paper. And it doesn't have any wax or anything on it, so it's not going to melt. And it's perfect for going through a regular laminator. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lay my design, my quarter sheet. I'm going to put that right in here, and then I'm going to lay this piece of foil right on top, just like that. Okay. I know there's some sticking out the edge, and I know there's some over here, and that's okay. That's not going to cause a problem. Yeah, I can show you flock at some point. I don't have any Christmas colors here today, but I will definitely do that at some point. All right, so now I'm going to send this fold side down. And if you're using parchment paper, you want to use fold side down. And I'm going to put it right into the mink. So the mini mink works just as good as the regular mini. Yeah, the mini works great, and it works just as well as the regular one. The difference between the mink and regular laminators is the mink has 4 rollers, and I think most regular laminators have 2. So it gets that little extra bit of heat. But again, I've used the Royal Sovereign laminator in so many videos. I have a whole foil playlist on my YouTube channel, and I've used it so many times with great results. Okay, so you see I put it in foil side up and design side up. And now I'm going to peel this. You don't have to wait for it to dry or anything. And look at all of that beautiful sparkle and shine. Yes, you can use a laminating machine, Vicki. Any laminator will work. Okay. So now I'm going to put this aside because we're going to do some more foiling. And yeah, I got a little bit on my thing, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me at all. All right. So now let's do a greeting. So we could use one of the ThermoWeb ones. Let's see what ThermoWeb has. What do I have by ThermoWeb? These are really fun. These are the holiday cheer ones. And they have all like circular greetings in there. So let's use one of those because then we'll cut it out with a circle die. So when you get foil mates from ThermoWeb, it will come with a piece of, I think it does. Let me see. Yep, it comes with a piece of parchment paper. So you've got parchment to try. And if you're using a mink, the parchment paper is going to be a little big, so just cut it down a little bit to about the size of this, which is about 6 inches. So you just want to cut it down, folded side at about 6 inches. Let's do one just so we can try it. Okay. I've got foil going everywhere. I've got so many of these too because I've been doing foil for so long. I can't get enough foil. I love it. All right, let's do, this is one of my favorites. Let's do this one. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Now the thing about these designs is the more black, the more foil. So that's how you know you're going to have a great sparkly design. So I'm just going to like cut this out with a pair of scissors first, just to get it out of the way. And I'm going to foil it and then die cut it. So we'll foil this one. And let's use some red. Let's get that radiant red. So here's some of the radiant red foil. Let me get a sheet. Is that going to be big enough? Yeah. See, I always keep all my scraps because there's definitely, you can use all of your scraps for sure. Okay, so we'll try running this one through the mink with the parchment paper. So laminate anything larger than 6 inches, you would need the 12-inch. Correct. And to get a 12-inch laminator is super cheap. They make tons of 12-inch laminators out there. I'm using the mini, so this is the 6-inch. My Royal Sovereign is the smaller one, but I have never found a need to foil anything bigger than 6 inches. But if you're a scrapbooker and you want to foil an entire piece of background paper, then yeah, you might need a bigger one. Or if you have a bigger one, you can foil a whole bunch of stuff all at once. Okay, so I used the parchment paper this time, and I ran this through the laminator, and oh, look at that design. Look at how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I love that. I think I want to do a red background now because I just really love that. Yeah, so for toner paper, somebody is asking how to use the toner paper. Well, there's lots of ways you can use the toner paper. And toner paper, this is toner paper. So it is a black cardstock, but it is not black cardstock. This is actually printed with the resin that ThermoWeb prints all of their foil mates with. So it is just solid commercial grade resin. And so if you have a design like this that you just did, you can use the toner paper. Let me show you what you can do with it. So I'm going to lay this on top, and I'm going to trim this down. Where'd my scissors go? It doesn't take me, it takes me 5 seconds to have a messy desk. I don't know about you guys. 5 seconds. I'm just going to trim this toner paper down a little bit. Okay. So I made it just a little bit smaller than my design. And I'm going to put that into my laminator. So I have the toner paper, toner side up, and then I have the negative of the design that I just did. And then I'm going to send that through the Mink, through the laminator. I'm going to call it a laminator even though it's the Mink. The Mink is just a brand name for a fancy crafting laminator. I know that's confusing for a lot of people. They think they need a very specific machine. You don't. The Mink is a laminator. It was just made for the crafting industry. I'm not saying it's not great. It is probably the Rolls Royce of laminators. So if you want the best you can get, the Mink is great. But the Mink will work with all of ThermoWeb's products. And ThermoWeb has a plethora of products. Okay, so now you can see this. I don't know if that's like hard to see. But now I'm going to peel this off. And you see, I have the design left behind. Now, it didn't transfer completely, and I think it probably would have transferred a little bit better if I hadn't touched the toner paper the way that I did. I just put lotion on my hands, and anywhere that you have anything sticky on there, it's not going to transfer perfectly. So what I usually do, and I try not to have like old wrinkly hands, so I always put lotion on out of habit. But what I might do going forward is use a little hand sanitizer before I actually touch the toner paper. But you get the idea. So that's how that works. Actually, you can use regular dyes with the glimmer system too. Yeah, I know, but dyes, and I know that that's a really fun thing. A lot of people like it. Dyes are expensive. And if you want to do something really fast that you can print on a laser printer, you know, you can print 1 million of them, or you can print one and you don't have to feel like you've made a huge investment. Now, I'm not saying that it's not fun, and I'm not saying it's not something that I wouldn't consider doing, because I would. But this is really my favorite way to foil. Okay, so now let me get this big paper cutter, because this is our sentiment strips. And I'm going to cut first the bottom of these off. So these are the long ones at the bottom. I cut those off first. And then I like to cut these down into just columns. And then you have all of your, everything that's, you know, the right size to fit through your die cutting machine. Cut this down too. Right there. All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to do a sheet of the white ones too. Yes, you can definitely dust your foil. That's a dust your foil and dust your piece that you're putting through, like with a Swiffer duster, and that really helps too. That helps to get rid of any little specks of dust. But lotion, you're going to get a glob like I. There's not a lot you can do with that. Okay. So I'm going to cut these white ones down too. Trying not to touch too much of it. We'll see what happens. And I love this whole concept just because it's so versatile. If you have a printer, you can print designs. There's lots of companies now that do different kinds of printed things that will work with the foil. And they usually tell you in their description if something will work. So it's a great way to get into foiling without having to invest in a hot foil plate and, dyes that maybe you like the dye, but, maybe you don't want to use the same one over and over and over again. And this gives you such a world of opportunity. So I'm going to do one more snowflake pattern because I really feel like I want to do it in blue. So let's see how that looks. I'm going to use this parchment paper again. So I'm going to put the design in like this, and I want to get that brilliant blue, because don't you think blue snowflakes would be amazing? And then we're going to make a couple things out of these cards and tags. So I'm going to put that foil right in there. And if you're worried and you don't want that to mess up your parchment paper, it won't. It'll make it a little black up there, but you could always put like another little piece of foil right on there if you wanted. All right, so I'm going to send this one through. You can definitely ink blend over the foil if you want to. You can actually ink blend over the toner sheet, these foil mates first. Let it dry completely and kind of rub over it so that this will still heat up. And then you can colorize your cardstock behind there. I kind of recommend doing the inking first and then foil, because you don't want to go too rough on the foil and scratch any of it off. Okay, so let's see how this looks. The blue seems really, really spectacular. Oh, look at that. Look at that blue. Isn't that beautiful? I should run them through the Cricut machine. Couldn't you as well, to make out a design? The Cricut does have some kind of way to do foil, but it's a different process than this, so I really don't understand it because I don't have a Cricut. Okay, so now I'm going to, let's do some Merry Christmas ones here. I'm going to just cut a few of these out. And I'm going to do these in red. I think we're going to do a red tag. So here's a little scrap that I have. I'm going to put that right over my little sentiment strips. And then I'm going to send that through. I want to look at my snowflake over here and see if it's getting dry. It is. It's starting to dry. My snowflake is getting dry. What color should I do the snowflake? Silver or blue? Because that blue is gorgeous. What do you want me to do that big snowflake? Tell me what you think. The sentiment strips are from Gina K Designs. These are our holiday sentiment strips. We released these in a kit, and now they're available separately. And they're also, there's a little die set that coordinates with them as well. Okay, blue. I'm seeing overwhelming blue. Okay, so here now I've done that. So I'm going to be able to cut these out using the die cutting machine. So I'll put those aside. Now let's do a tag. So ThermoWeb has these tag borders. These are also discontinued, but they still have them. And maybe they're not discontinued. I don't know why I'm saying that. They're on their website. So I'm going to grab one of these because these are super fun. Look at these. Aren't they fun? They're tags that you can foil, and they coordinate with our die set, with this die set right here. So as you can see, you can cut that out, right? And you can get that beautiful sparkly border. There's 1 or 2 for each tag. Let's see, this one goes here. And then there's really tiny one. Let me see what they are here. Yeah, the little tiny one, there isn't one for that, but that would be a great one just to hang onto the tag with the person's name. You could just write their name. You could even write their name with Deco foil adhesive pen and then foil that. So let's do one of these. Let's do this thicker one. I want to make sure I didn't cut that too much. Probably should have traced that. Let's see. I think that'll be close enough. That'll be fine. Okay. So again, I'm going to use this same piece of parchment paper because I wanted to show you that you don't have to buy anything special. What color? Should we do this one in green? Should we do the glimmering green for this one just to see what that looks like? Because you guys haven't seen that foiled yet. The glittering green, not glimmering, glittering green. It's so fun. This is, I'll tell you what, you guys know my daughter Rena, right? Rena used to craft with me when she was a little girl, and she liked it, but then, you know, she became a teenager and started doing her own thing. I think I'm going to try. I want to try one of these instead. So she, you know, became a teenager and started doing her own thing. But one Christmas, she came home from college, and I had just gotten into all of this stuff. And I let her try it. And this was the thing that got her back into crafting. And it turned into her having her whole own line with thermoweb and everything. She became so hooked on foil. She said she thinks foil is like the entryway drug into the crafting world because it's so fun and easy to do. So if you've got kids or grandkids and you want to play with something, this is so easy for them to do by themselves. Karen calls this Grinchy green. It is Grinchy green. You're right. You're a sly one, Karen. Okay. Ooh, that just pulled right off, but look at it. Look at how beautiful that is. So we've got to cut that tag out. Okay. So I'm going to do a few more pieces. I know this is taking a little while, but then we'll be able to assemble things pretty quickly. This also, you could make the reverse one on toner paper. I just have to show you. I'm so excited about all this. This live could be like 5 hours long, but it can't. It can't. Where'd the toner paper go? Here it is. Just show you what this would look like. I mean, even just to do a plain tag like that and then hang another small tag on top of it just to have all that sparkle behind there. Isn't that pretty? Okay. So we're going to cut another Gina K one out. We're going to do this Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. Love this one. This is from the Holiday Greetings Foil Mate set. And I think any of these would work. You could do this one. Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. Yeah, let's do that. We'll cut this one because this one could be cut smaller with a smaller tag. So I'm just going to make sure that I don't cut it to the wrong size. Okay. Alrighty. And now I'll do this one. I'll do it in red. I love the silver. I think the silver is really pretty, but I think it might be a little bit better for background designs instead of focal images, because I think, you know, the darker the foil, the more you can read it. Not that you wouldn't be able to read it, but we're going to put that red on top. Let's see. Oh no, don't be sad about anything that you already have. If you already have the glimmer machine and all of that, that's totally fine. Here's the thing, is if you have the hot foil plate system and you like this idea, this is like, I mean, you could pick up a laminator for under 20 bucks. That's the investment. That's less than a set of stamps. So even if you already have the other kind, you can still get into this if you want. The only thing is the foils don't work together. So if you have the glimmer plate kind of foils, they won't work with this system. You have to have Deco foil type foils. Okay, so now we have a little tag right there. Okay, so let's put some cards together. Or let's put a card together anyway. So I think I might go back to this silver one. Let's do a simple silver one. I'm going to trim this down. Again, I'm keeping this super simple. So I'm going to trim this down to 3.5 by 4 3/4. Okay. And then I'm going to mount that onto, what color do you guys think? You know I'm going to mount it on a black piece, right? I'm going to mount it on a black piece. Got to. Okay. And then we'll put these two panels together. I'm going to tape that down with a little, yes, black. You guys know me so well. Okay. And then I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to cut this out with a circle die, and then I'm going to put this on a red card base. So I will use the red velvet. I think that's a nice match. So I'll make a red card base here. Tom, the music is so nice. Okay. Some tape on here. I just used the last of my tape. Oh, it's so pretty. But not even. And now we're going to cut this out, and we're going to cut one more little panel. So let's foil one more little piece. Let's do, what do I have here? Let's see. Give me one sec. I have some really fun ones from ThermoWeb. I have this one. This is the stripes. This is called Ornamental Holiday. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to just do a small strip. So I'll make it about a 2-inch, 2-inch by, we'll do 4.5. Okay. And then we will foil that using some red. Since we have silver on the back, we've got the silver sequins on the back. Let's use a little bit of red for this, and then we'll die cut it. It's not big enough. I've got bigger ones. I think I do. Oh yeah, I don't have bigger ones. So we'll go with glimmering green. Must have used all my bigger ones. Silver, red, and green. You can't go wrong with that, right? Now, of course, you don't have to You know, you don't have to use a whole sheet. You can trim this down. And the way I trim them down is I flip them over to look on the back, because you can end up using every little bit of foil. You can make multicolor designs too, just by laying all different color foils over one piece. And it'll, you know, you can do rainbows, you can do all kinds of things like that. Now, where did I put my little thing? Here it is. So I'm going to stick this in there. And we'll send that through. Oh, and somebody did ask me, what setting do I keep my mink at? And for this kind of foiling, I set it to 3. The mink does have different settings depending on what you're working with. So if you are working with maybe parchment paper or something lighter, you could try a lower setting. If you're working with something thicker, like a light chipboard, you can go with a higher setting. And what I'm foiling are called foil mates. These are products that are available at ThermoWeb, and some are available at Gina K Designs as well. Okay. All right. So let's see what this looks like. Pretty pretty. Love it. So I'm going to trim it down just a little bit more and then add a black panel to it. So I'm going to trim it down to 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to add a black panel to that. So that will be one end. I know I'm off the scene here because I just ran out of room completely. And you guys feel me, right? So 1 1.25, 1 3/8. And then this was 4.5, so I'm going to make it 4 5/8. And I'm going to mount those two together like that. I ran out of tape. I have another. Can never have enough tape. Okay. And then I'm going to slip that onto my card right here. Just off to the one side, and then my big circle will go on top of the whole thing. I'm keeping kind of an even border around the sides, and then my whole circle will go here. So let's cut that out, and then we will foil the snowflake. And we'll turn that into a quick card. Might have to do tags another time. I talked a lot during this video because I really wanted to give you guys good information about the foiling process. So I know I didn't get quite as many projects. Tom asked me how many I thought I would make today. And I said, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4. Wrong. So I'm going to cut this out using our double stitched circles dies. And I did not tape that down, so I'm hoping for the best. So the foil mates are fun, but my favorite way to foil is using the Deco Foil Transfer Gel, and you're going to see why in a minute. I will show you that. Okay, so I just need a little piece of black cardstock, and I'm going to use the single stitched circle. Really, I have a laminator in front of me. I have everything here. So you could sit and foil and foil and foil and cut panels and mount them all together and then assemble. I'll tell you what I did. Right before Creativation, when we introduced this whole system to the world, I made 25 cards in one night, and they were super simple to make. They're just so fast and easy to put together because the artwork is all in the foil mates. So head over to ThermoWeb's website if you want to see. Oh, isn't that pretty? Isn't that so pretty together? I love that. Okay, so I think I'm going to use some foam squares to pop that up. Have we been biking? You know, Tom and I actually were biking. The other day we went out in the freezing cold and biked. And today it's going to be 64 degrees. Haha. And we're not biking because we're working. So I am using the black foam squares because I have a black background here and you won't be able to really see it from the side view. All right, I'm going to just pop that right there. There we go. So there's my finished foil card. Isn't that pretty? So much sparkle and shine. Now, let's do this because this is going to be so fun. So blue was the overall winner. So this is that snowflake that I used with the transfer gel. I'm going to use the brilliant blue. Let me get a big piece here of brilliant blue. I might need a bigger piece. We'll see. I might use 2 pieces and then I'll just cut it. All right, so I'm going to put this in here, and then I'm going to put a piece of, do this. Put a piece of brilliant blue right here. Another piece just to finish it off. I'm going to overlap it so that I hope there's no seam, but we'll see. And then I'm going to send it through the mink. I have to wait for that to heat up. The mink will automatically shut off. But once the light turns green, then it's ready to go. So let's hope for the best. Hoping for the best. I should have done these in silver because I could have used one of these little things for my greeting. Maybe I'll just do one of these little white ones. I'll send it through. I cut them all out, but they got lost in the mess here. While that's going through, I'll find another one. Okay, we'll do this little happy holidays. Let's see what it looks like. Maybe it wasn't completely, it was dry enough. I'm gonna have to cut this anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Wow, wow, wow. So I have to cut this down anyway for it to fit on my card. So I will do that, but first I'm gonna send this little one through. Not that one, this one. Happy holidays. I'm gonna send it through with some blue. And I'm going to cut this down. I have to wait for this to go through though. It's nice to have music while you're crafting. So what kind of music do you guys listen to when you're crafting? Do you listen to easy listening? Do you listen to jazz? What do you listen to? Great. Ooh, these are pretty. You see that? Can you see that sparkle there? Okay. All right, so I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to turn off this laminator now and give that a break. I'm going to trim this down. So first I'm just going to cut a little bit off the edge. Which way? Yeah, I'll cut a little bit off the edge here to get it as close to the edge as possible. And then I'm going to take this down to 3.5 inches. And And then I'm going to take this to 4 3/4. So cut it here, and then I'll cut it here. I know it's a lot to cut off, but if you don't cut your all of your foil down and you have a few sheets for these bigger designs, then this could be a bigger card. You listen to easy listening. That's nice. Depends on my mood. I listen to other crafters. That's a good idea too. So I'm going to trim this down. I'm going to use, no, I should use blue, right? Should I use blue? Color blue. Will this work? I think that will work. So this is blue denim. I'm going to cut a blue denim panel. I know, it's not black. You guys are, who am I? I don't even know who I am anymore. Okay, and now I'm going to mount these two together. Oh, that's really pretty together. I like the blue denim with that. So we have one that used Tranfer Gel and one that used foil mates. And then what I'm going to do at the end of this video, if you go back and watch the replay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link the entire foil playlist that I have on my channel. So you can watch tons of videos on this. And, you know, in every video, I say new things and then I also forget to say things. So it's kind of good to watch more than one video to get an idea of how to do all this and the different ideas that you can do. So I'm definitely doing a white card base for this one. All right, Tom, we're going to have 2 cards to give away.
All right.
Look how pretty that is. Look at that shine. Oh my gosh, you guys. Imagine that even just on a tag, how pretty that would be. All right, we're going to cut one more thing. We're going to cut one of those little holiday greetings out. Happy holidays. And then we'll mount that right onto that snowflake card and we will be done. 2 cards. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, I have so many different techniques. I believe flock is in there somewhere too, if you've really been dying to know how to do flock. Let's cut one of these out. Need a smaller die. Yeah, I'll use that one. These are our sentiment strip dies, and they work with our sentiment strips. Can I do it straight enough? Let's see. I'm hoping for the best. That's not bad. And then that will go. It could go right there. Or it could go down a little bit. I'm going to put it right across the snowflake. Let's do that. Okay. Put it right there. All right, let me move this and I'll show you both cards and then we will pick our winners. So the first technique that we did was all about foil mates and using toner, and that's the first card. And then this one used the Deco foil Tranfer Gel and a little bit of the toner with the sentiment strips. All right, so I hope you like these cards, guys. I had a lot of fun making them today, that's for sure. All right, Tom. Hey there, thanks for the great music.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's always so fun. All right, so let's give away the Foil Mates card first.
All right. Suspense.
Yes.
All right, Foil Mates card goes to Chrystal's Creations Wycoff.
Crystals. All right. Crystals are shiny too, Tom. That's a great name to pick. Congratulations, Chrystal. Okay. And then who is going to get the Deco Foil Tranfer Gel card?
Deco Foil Transfer card goes to Sandra Yee. Sandra Yee.
Sandra, congratulations. This one's coming to you. All right, Sandra and Chrystal, all you have to do is send your name and your address to info@ginakdesigns.com. And let them know your address and which card you won, whether you won the Foil Mates card. You could say I won the red and green one if you want, and you can say I won the blue one if you won that one. All right, everybody. Well, this was so much fun. I will be back on Friday with a new 5-minute card video. And I actually used this stencil in my 5-minute card video. I have a really cool technique to show you, so I think you're really going to like that one. So stay tuned for that. And then Tom and I will be back again next Monday night for our release party. We're having a new release on Monday night, and I sure hope that you will join us for that. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.